not boy racer like a Civic Si. It's a very mature looking car. Like I said, it kind of gives you a little bit of Audi-esque. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's under the hood. And here it is, guys. This is Volkswagen's very well-known 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine. Again, it's producing 210 horsepower, 207 pound-feet of torque. Volkswagen says the car will do 0 to 60 in about 6.8 seconds, so it's relatively quick. But it's the same engine that you see in pretty much all Volkswagens. It's a detuned version of the Volkswagen GTI engine. All right, guys, I happen into the back seat of the GLI. It's a really comfortable place to be. Now, Volkswagen says they have a healthy 38 inches of rear seat leg room back here, which is a little bit more than a lot of the rivals are offering. So it's kind of matching what the midsize cars are actually doing. I do have the front seat in the driving position that I will be in. So I'll go ahead and hop back here so you guys can get a better idea of the space. Now, knee room is really good. And if you need to put your feet under the seat for a couple of extra inches, you do have that. Otherwise, it's relatively comfortable back here. Now, this car does have the monster floor mats. You do have carpeted floor mats under there. And a couple of things back here, you do have a 12-volt charger, as well as some storage space. You have a mat pocket in the seat, as well as storage space in the doors. Materials back here kind of feel plasticky and cheap, but again, this is a compact car, so it's kind of what you expect. This car also has a leatherette material versus regular leather or real leather, but it's also comfortable nonetheless. Now, the rear seats do fold down 60/40, as well as a ski pass-through that actually folds in, and everything that I'm hiding from you guys is actually in the trunk. So know that the trunk has 15.5 cubic feet of space, 2 cup holders, 2 map lights, and that pretty much rounds out the back seat of the Volkswagen Jetta. Let's go ahead and move up front. All right, guys, before we hop into the front seat of the Volkswagen, I just wanted to show you guys the key. It is the standard Volkswagen switchblade key, but this car does have keyless go system as well as push button start. So you do have a lock, unlock, as well as a trunk button. But if you want to gain access to the vehicle with the key in your pocket, all you do is put your hand behind the handle and it will unlock for you. If you want to lock it, there's a small indentation here. You just put your finger on that and it will lock. But let's go ahead and hop into the GLI. And the first thing you are greeted with is a nice seal here that says GLI. I love all the branding that Volkswagen does with this car. You have GLI on the inside, you have it everywhere on the outside, you even have it here on the steering wheel, which looks really nice. And this is the overall interior of the car. Very comfortable, very spacious. You do have a sunroof up here as well. And let's go ahead and hop inside and get it started up. And as I said before, guys, this car of course does have push button start. So with your foot on the brake and proudly the clutch pedal, you just go ahead and push it and the car starts right up for you. You don't have any dramatic startup sequences or anything like that, just roars to life. Now, this car does have a couple of really nice features, especially for 2016. They have some really luxurious features, especially for a compact car. Now, you do have your premium Fender audio system, which of course we're going to do our audio test. You do have front and rear one-touch windows, which a lot of the competition does not have one-touch, especially for the back. So that's a really nice feature to have. You have a small digital gauge in the middle here that just shows all your different functions for the car. Shows your audio, navigation if you have that up, your phone connections, the different assistants. This car has a lot of assistance as far as driving and parking and blind spot monitoring. It also shows the different settings that you have, and of course your speed and radio. And it's all controlled on the steering wheel here. Standard cruise control, no specialty types of cruise control here. And moving on to the center stack here, you have a nice size infotainment screen. Of course, you have Android Auto as well as Apple CarPlay with this car. You just need to plug it in. It's not wireless or anything like that. But again, 2016, so that wasn't available back then. Now, one really cool thing that I love about this screen is, you see those icons at the bottom? They just disappeared. But as you put your finger closer to it, it pops up even before you touch it. So it shows you exactly what you're about to touch, so you know exactly what you're going to touch before you actually get close to it. So I just always thought that was pretty neat. Of course, you have your Bluetooth as well, and again, this one has navigation, so you have your navigation screen. Now moving on down here, you do have a driver and passenger climate control. So 2-zone climate control. You do have your heated seats. Of course, I have mine on. I don't care what the temperature is. I am going to have my heated seat on. It's just so soothing. It's so very comfortable. And one thing that I absolutely adore about this car is these heated seats get really, really hot in this car. So if you enjoy a good heated seat, definitely make sure you check this out. Moving on down here, you have your USB port for your Apple CarPlay, as well as a 12-volt charger, traction control, as well as your park pilot assist. Now, if you want to turn off all the nannies when you're parking, you just push this button here. Otherwise, it'll pop up on the screen, and as you're turning, it'll show you exactly where you are going, front and back. And of course, you do have a rear view camera with decent resolution. 2016, it was definitely pretty good resolution. It doesn't have trajectory, but it does have lines to let you know exactly how close you are getting to objects behind you. And that pretty much sums up the interior of the GLI, guys. The only thing I probably would ding it for is these interior materials. It's just hard plastic, no matter where you look. So I'm not a fan of that, but we have to remember this is a compact car that they made into more of a sportier vehicle. So it does have really nice features. It does look nice overall. This leather wrapped steering wheel is also very nice, and it is a flat bottom steering wheel as well. So overall, the interior is a very nice to be. I wouldn't ding it too hard for that, but that's the only thing that I noticed about this car that I absolutely really am not a fan of. But without further ado, let's go ahead and go for a drive. All right, setting off in the 2016 Volkswagen GLI. And first things first, I was sitting on a hill back there, and this car does have a hill hold feature, which is really good for manual transmission. So basically, if you are sitting on a hill, as soon as you put the car in gear and let your foot off the brake, it holds. I timed it. It's about 3 or 4 seconds that it'll hold before the car will actually start rolling back. So a really nice safety feature to have, especially if you are a beginner driver to a manual transmission. And speaking of beginning driving, this is also a really good car to learn on because the clutch is very light, the clutch is very easy, very hard to mess up, near impossible to stall out on this car. So even if you are live in a heavy traffic area or a heavy traffic city, it won't tire you out driving it every single day. I think you'll enjoy it, especially if you enjoy driving a manual transmission. All right, so we're gonna get on the highway here and see what this 210 horsepower feels like on a pool. Nice, very quick. Actually feels a lot quicker than the 207 pound-feet of torque that Volkswagen advertises. But you know, a lot of these cars, especially the German vehicles, are usually really modest about the numbers that they actually put out there. So, and that's what this one kind of feels like to me. The only thing that I would say about the transmission is it definitely does not like to be rushed. This is not a car that you just jam into gear and see what it does. You kind of have to take your time with it, baby it a little bit, but as long as you do that, then you know you'll get into the gears good, it'll feel good, it'll do what you need it to do. Now cruising along the highway here, you do notice a little bit more road noise coming in than you might anticipate. A lot of compact cars, especially the ones with nicer features or that come with bigger engines, they usually come with a bigger price tag. We have to remember that they are compact cars. So some of the driving dynamics or some of the things that you might notice about the way that it drives are for compact cars. So a little bit more road noise than I would want or anticipate, but it's definitely not anything that'll make you shy away from wanting this car or driving this car or really just enjoying this car overall. Let's do one more pull here. This is from second gear. Really nice. No torque steer, no anything, just a nice linear pull. And the power comes on really gradually. It's not explosive like old school turbo engines. It's not anything that'll make you uncomfortable. It's really nice. Now, steering feel is where this car really shines, I feel like. Sounds good too. We're gonna take this sweeper here and talk a little bit about the handling of the car. You know, Volkswagen did a really good job on the suspension of this car. As a daily driver, it's not too rough, but when you want to have a little bit of fun, it definitely brightens up for you. Really nice. Really nice. But like I said, as a daily driver, when you're just on the highway cruising, it's very comfortable. The suspension is very compliant, hits bumps really nicely. It's not rough whatsoever, but it's also not wallowy at all. It's just overall a really comfortable, compliant ride. One that I really enjoy. Another good thing about the GLI, I think, is the gas mileage. Now, considering the power that you get, especially with it being turbocharged, and if you're in that turbo, of course you're going to get lower gas mileage, but it's 23 in the city, 33 on the highway. I've seen this car go above 33 on road trips. I've seen it up to about 34 and a half, 34 and some change, but it's probably averaging about 23, 24 miles per gallon usually. Right now I'm getting 21 miles per gallon, but because I'm showing you guys the performance, it's a little bit lower than normal. Now, all GLIs do come standard with the Fender audio system, which is an upgraded audio system. In my opinion, I think it sounds really good. I'm really excited for you guys to listen to it and tell me what you think. They've done away with the Fender audio in the new GLI, so if that's what you're interested in, be sure to take a look at this generation. Honestly, I think it's worth it over the new car. So let's go ahead and cut on some music. Fender audio. So tell me what you guys think in the comments below about this stereo system, and just overall, what do you think about the GLI? Is it one of your favorite Volkswagens, one of your favorite sport compact sedans? Would you drive one? Do you think it's worth it? Let me know. You know, one thing I really appreciate about this car is Volkswagen added this noise to the cabin. It's called the Sound Actor, and it's basically a speaker that's in the engine bay that plays in the car. So it kind of gives it this nice aggressive tone underneath, especially in the lower RPMs and in the lower gears. So it doesn't sound like a typical 4-cylinder engine. And you know, as you know, turbocharged engines really lose a lot of their noise because of the turbo, but it adds a little bit more character to the car. And this car has quite a lot of character, and that aids in it being more of a GLI, which I really appreciate. So just rolling into my final thoughts, guys, about the 2016 Volkswagen GLI. This is a really fun car to drive. If you're looking for something enjoyable that you can use every day, not get beat up by it, but still have the performance, this is definitely something to check out. Now, if you are interested in the DSG, I definitely recommend driving one. Apparently it is faster, of course, because it shifts a lot faster than you could, but the 6-speed manual to me is the more fun way to go. Above all else, you know, it's a Volkswagen, so if you are familiar with tuning your car, you can easily plug it up and add about 50 more horsepower to it, if not more, and have a lot more fun with your car. So, you know, if you want nice technology, nice features, you'll definitely get it at a good price on the used car market. It's not quite as, it doesn't hold its value as quite as well as a GTI, but you definitely get some GTI-ness in the car, so you'll still enjoy it. As always, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't yet, definitely please consider subscribing to the channel, as I do post car reviews, try to do it weekly. Also follow me on Instagram at downshiftpass, and I'll meet you down in the comments. If you guys have any comments or anything you like to add, or anything you also like to see, definitely let me know. Until then, I'll see you in the next review. Bye-bye.